So the Chicago was always in our radar, and we analyzed the business case, but it was not sufficient to take additional aircraft just because of the Chicago, because we didn't know how the demand at the initial stage will react. So it was kind of a coincidence that when we were planning the China, opening the China, it was natural choice that we will combine the China, which was still restricted as the COVID, with the Chicago. And I think it was a right choice because the initial demand supersede our expectation. We are currently from 12th of June will be already on 3 frequencies. The flights are developing pretty well, so most likely next year will come additional frequencies to this route as well. We are positioning ourselves as a regional leading airline in the wider Balkan region and is densifying our network with our especially regional operation like turboprop operation, but even narrow-body operation. We would like to offer the seamless connectivity via Belgrade, not only to our long-haul destination, but to all our destinations throughout Europe. 2019 for us was a record year. We ended with 2.8 million passengers, and currently, despite that the Europe is still in kind of -15 in average, with exception between different carriers, we are already currently 40% capacity above 2019 year to date and 69% more passenger than in 2019. So we are aiming to reach 3.5 million passengers as a record number this year. In Belgrade, our market share is actually improving, so our growth is also not only natural organic growth, but we are also aiming and be able to gain the market share, which usually in winter was always very low, and currently we are around 49% market share even in the winter. Summer we are always reaching over 55% market share, so we believe that this year we will be over 50%, and the biggest segment which are contributing to this is the leisure and VFR travel. So currently the market still continue to be quite volatile from the COVID, especially that now it's coming in the problems with the supply chain and the spare parts issues and other things. So despite that you are planning certain things, they might be changing, but at the same time some new opportunities can rise on the market. So we are currently in a process to finalize our third wide-body aircraft, and as soon as that aircraft will come, we will continue our expansion towards China. In terms of the narrow-body, our core strategy is to basically phase out 319 and go for 320s, but currently appear some interesting options on the market also with 321s. So we will maybe fast-track and consider to take the 321s on dry lease already during the summer. But it's very much dependent, it's still very volatile, and we will continue to expand our ATR 72-600 fleet. Currently, those pilots which we started hiring in November, they are already being released step by step into the operation. Cabin crews are basically all already trained and in operation, and with each aircraft which we will be bringing to the fleet, we will continue to hire both segments, pilots and cabin crew. We plan to grow every year around 15-20%, so the hiring of both, let's say, operational segments like pilots and the crew will be constant in our case. I think despite that many airports are claiming that the summer will be smooth, I don't share the same vision, because despite that last year we had mostly the manpower issue at the airport on the security staff and so on. On top of that this year it's continuing that way, and on top of that the strikes issue really widely spread through the Europe. Basically since beginning of the year we never had one single week when there was no strikes somewhere in Europe which will influence us. For example, yesterday on Friday we had the general strike in Italy, which caused cancellation of our Rome flight and postponing of the Catania flight. So every week basically something is happening in that segment. So that segment is still quite disrupted in terms of, let's say, manpower and many other issues. And on top of that, it's starting to be more and more visible the supply chain issue, maintenance slots, spare parts, and others. So I think it's fair to say that maybe it will take 2 to 3 years before the system will stabilize. We already mentioned several times that the next expansion will go towards China. So as soon as we have the third aircraft, we currently secure the traffic rights for the Shanghai. We are working on the traffic rights for Guangzhou, which will be one of two wherever we will be able to secure the slots. First will be the one for the next expansion. Once we will, let's say, expand to these cities in China, most likely we will add another destination in North America. And in the near future, we will also look beyond the China in the Far East, most likely Korea and Japan. In terms of destination, at the moment we are aiming to have over 80 destinations operating this summer, but as we several times mentioned, we are very flexible and agile to react on any opportunities, and as soon as we will have sufficient, let's say, fleet and no constraint on that matter, we are able to add even more destinations which we have already on the pipeline.